Hello and welcome to the Mythologue, the D&D live stream, where our cast of lore makers will whip you up a fresh, unrehearsed batch of lore every Monday. In Dungeons and Dragons, the game master narrates a story. The players create the action by existing and making decisions as their characters in the story. And when the fates must have their say, there's something to say. A couple of quick announcements before we get started. I just want to say, whoa, you guys. We have like over 115 views on episode 1 right now before we even air episode 2. I cannot express the amount of gratitude and just overwhelming support that we're feeling from you guys. Oh my gosh. We can't wait to share our story with y'all. Thank you so much for coming along with us and supporting us. We got our Patreon up and running and it is live. So you can now support us at patreon.com/themythologue, all one word. That's TheMythologue, the Mythologue. On Patreon, you can subscribe for as low as $3 a month for beautiful perks like patron-only content, merch, and access to things like maybe a page out of a character's journal or an interview with an NPC or possibly even a PC. So hop on Patreon and get involved. Stay involved by clicking like and subscribe on our Facebook pages. We also have Twitter. What are we? At Mythologue D&D.
Yep.
At Mythologue D&D on Twitter. I don't know if we have an Insta yet. We're getting there, y'all. We're building.
We do have an Insta. It is also at Mythologue D&D.
Woohoo! At Mythologue D&D. So yeah, lots of ways to interact that will be growing and evolving as the story does. And so, without further ado, let's get rolling. Last week, our characters gathered in a weird little town at the far northern reaches of the understood world in a village called Dwera in preparation for the bear ceremony. Everyone except Epiphany, who just found herself there because she got lost for a really long time and got a really bad tummy ache. Getting to know the town a little bit, all of our travelers became aware that some very strange events tend to happen at the bear ceremony each year. One year a druid caught fire and ended up becoming an ever-burning flame that stands in the center of the hill where the bear ceremony takes place every year. We found out that the druids that come from the wilderness around will come to do the bear ceremony every year, and sometimes children who have been showing magical aptitudes will be sent with the druids. And if they endure a trial of being left in front of the bear cave and survive it overnight, then they get to go study and become druids. And one such child, Stara, was scheduled for exactly that event to happen in her life at this particular bear ceremony, and instead, what happened to her is the same thing that happened to all of our beautiful travelers. Who we have? We have Epiphany. Give us a little wave. Epiphany. Wexlarn. Feely. Finnick. Kian. And Flame. Flame played by Adam. Adam, hop in and rename yourself.
Oh, whoops.
It's okay, Adam, you're great. Everyone wants to know. These travelers found their way to the bear ceremony, and while enraptured watching the druids dance and invoke Mother Bear and express gratitude and holy worship, they all transformed into bears and began the bear dance, and then suddenly the central flame grew into a giant column of blue flame and then developed some sort of an energetical circle that went out past all of you and then back in, blink, the fire went out, and everyone was gone, or maybe you all were gone. Making your way off of the hill, you found yourselves in the Feywild, and turning around, well, even the darkened hill that you just came from is gone. And here you are, deposited into the Feywild. Only one of you has ever been here before. And each of you has your own reasons for wanting or not wanting to be in the Feywild. You also seem to have been bestowed with a child, an 11-year-old named Astara, who is, although frightened, quite brave, and mostly just wants to find the bear cave, which is what she was supposed to do next. At the end of things, however, last week, our lovely druid Kian, who is a wilderness adventurer at heart, was so taken with the Feywild landscape and the beauty of the fungi and the lovely crystalline stream that he stepped forward and forgot himself a little bit, and after not much more than a cursory sniff, he took a lick of the wrong mushroom and found himself in an interesting, intoxicated state. At this time, he has begun to experience full-scale visual and auditory hallucinations, and things are going strange for our dear friend Kia. Meanwhile, somebody is not pleased about having their fungus fucked with. And as everyone stood and took in the sight of Kian kind of going all spiralized, suddenly, arrows begin landing in the trees nearby. And as you all look around, someday I'm gonna learn to do this really fast. That's gonna be so cool. And as everyone stands there taking in the sight, 3 pixies zoom in from the unknown reaches of the forest and hover across the stream from you. You can see them whizzing their wings moving so quickly that they're almost hard to see, but you can see their little faces, and you can hear their little angry fey voices. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Whose mushrooms do you think those are? And everyone needs to roll initiative.
Ooh, that's good.
Now, the way I love to do initiative, I just want everybody to hold on to your rolls in your mind, because I do this all old-fashioned style on pen and paper. So just know what you roll, and when I get to your place in the line, let me know.
Hey Nick, if you want to research these things, you might want to do it quickly.
Right.
Yeah, Finnick will make a point to say, yeah, I don't think this is really the time. I'm pretty sure, though, they could have hit us if they wanted to. They already knew we were here. We may not want to lead with violence. And he'll call out to them in Fey. And our friend was just curious. I thought they were at a festival.
Roll a persuasion check with disadvantage, please. Your friend was curious.
And Epiphany will add, they knew we were here long before they showed themselves.
You bet we did.
That's a 9.
You get what you deserve when you mess with our nature. And they begin. Now, do we have 25s to 20s in your initiative lineup? Any 20 naturals, I should ask.
20 natural, 24 total.
You got you a 20
That's
natural.
one
Oh!
Good timing.
All right. Any other 25s to 20s? All right, 19 to 15.
17.
So got a 17.
What's your parent dexterity scores, both of you?
14.
16.
And Feely has 15 for their initiative roll.
Okay, 14 to 10.
I have 12.
I also have 12,
What are your parent dex scores, y'all?
14.
15.
Good rolling, everybody.
Really.
Yeah. Okay, and 9 to 5s.
I believe that was everyone.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's wow.
Really.
Very nice. Finnick, top of the round. What are you doing, my friend?
Well, they don't seem like they want to negotiate. So Finnick will say, well, this really goes against protocol, but I don't seem to have a choice. So he'll pull out one of his hand crossbows and he's going to fire at the nearest one. Are they using air? Like they're using bows and arrows?
You definitely notice arrows, something, tiny arrows thumping into trees.
Don't see them holding weapons though.
They're very hard to see. They're pretty darn tiny. You can kind of see these clouds of wings waving. Make a perception check for me.
Oh, sorry. I still had disadvantage on. It'd be a 15.
Okay, a 13, you said?
15.
All right. Yeah, you can see that some have bows and arrows. Others have little swords.
Okay. I'm going to fire at the ones with the bows and arrows. I'm going to try and disarm them.
Ready? Go ahead and roll to hit. You can see one with a bow and arrow, the one that is the green fuzzy.
Yeah, Fennec will be like, sorry about this. 24 to hit.
Okay, that will hit.
Sorry, I'm going to expertly shoot you for one moment here.
We're just trying to eat some mushrooms here, guys. So it'll be 9 damage.
Damn.
It blows up in a little shower of sparks. And you hear a bunch of tiny yells and screams. As or zoom in from different directions. Moving behind you. I want you all roll perception for me really quick and see if you see these guys.
What did you ask us to roll?
Perception, please.
All right.
Nice.
All right, Finnick, you definitely see them. Wayne, nice nat 20.
Yep.
You definitely see them. In fact, yeah, you see them immediately. You see them so quickly that I'll let you take an action as a reaction if you'd like. Do you want to do anything in reaction to seeing them?
Can I cast a spell?
Mm-hmm.
I'll try casting sleep on as many of them as that will affect.
Okay, what does that look like when you cast your magic? How does your magic look?
He kind of is waving one arm around and kind of humming a peaceful melody to himself.
All right, so it's pretty subtle. Do any lights or
Smoke, like kind of smoke as he like whoops, my microphone's trying to escape. As he like waves his arm in front of him, like kind of a misty smoke trails like come out.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So trails of smoke begin flowing across the stream as this haunting little peaceful melody pipes along.
Can Epiphany give advantage by playing ukulele with him as well?
I don't think so. I don't think you can aid on a spell. Will you hop into your spells list for me, Flame, and just click on that spell and drop it in the chat so I can
Sure.
read the specs on it? I'm pretty sure the pixies have to make a saving throw.
Adam needs to roll 5d8.
All right. Thank you. Flame, go ahead and roll 5d8. You can do this in Roll20 by hovering over your dice roller or by just, yeah, perfect. Okay, so up to 24 points worth of creatures can be affected by your spell. Humming, the smoke flows across the stream and engulfs these pixies. It blows along behind you and engulfs those pixies. However, laughing and jokingly coughing, they don't care. They shrug it off. They say, we're made of that. You just get to use it. And okay, Finnick, was that everything on your turn?
No, I have a bonus action. They're being really aggressive. So you can see his little hand crossbow just automatically reloads on its own.
Ooh.
And he'll turn to the one that showed up behind us, the pink one, and take a shot at it.
Okay.
$14.
Whizzes by.
Then it
Set it-
starts having like mechanical trouble, and he'll like, come on, not now. And he'll just stick close to Astara.
Already. this point, you see too late as the pink one across the stream knocks an arrow. That's going to be a 15 to hit you, Finnick. What's your armor class?
That hits. That is my armor class.
Ah, dang. All right. Dealing you only 2 points of piercing damage. These are tiny little darts. However, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
$13.
Okay, you feel like a kind of course through you from where the dart entered your skin in your upper arm, but you shrug it off. But you know there's something on those.
The Finnick call out. They're tipping these arrows with something. Watch out.
Fascinating.
So fast. Right next to Kian. And second pixie, the yellow one, fires an arrow at Kian. How dare you take what's ours? However, with only an 11, I'm guessing that.
You do not hit.
Okay. All right. These little darts are just whizzing past y'all. Thankfully, too, since Finnick mentioned. And that one whips across the creek as well, so quickly it's almost impossible to see them move, and is immediately replaced by another. And Epiphany, it is your turn.
All right, so I would like to use sneak attack and creep up on that little pink one there and use my bladed whip.
Okay.
And Epiphany would probably say something like, "Oh, my mom told me about you darn pixies."
I love it. Okay, bladed whip on the pink one
Yeah.
that's near Kian.
Yep.
Okay. Roll to hit.
That was a 19.
Okay. That does hit. Talk about what that bladed whip looks like when you.
So it's pretty long, like probably way longer than Epiphany is tall. And it's got little notches like you would expect to see on like a dragon's tail, like little spikes that are bladed, and also at the end, a nice pointed, like, yeah, it looks like almost an upside down heart. Very sharp, very shiny.
And roll your damage.
All right, so that is 6 plus, I get 3 slashing with that, so 9, and then with sneak attack, I get an extra d6 damage.
Woo!
So that is 15.
Shower of
Oh
sparks.
yeah. That'll do it.
Cool toy.
Wexline, up to you.
All right. I'm going to kind of make a squeak. Ah! And then kind of like try to turn and run away and then see the pink one coming in from the back and then like squeak again and then like run the other way across the party thinking that I'll get away that way. And then I see this yellow one on this side. So then I'll resign myself to having to fight. So like, these things multiply faster than dwarves with a tapped keg. And then I'll shoot my little crossbow. Very, very unsuccessfully, might I add.
Phew, they are so fast. It just boing, out of the way.
That was a 4 with my modifier.
All right. Any movement or anything else beyond running back and forth?
I think that was probably all my 25 feet, just kind of running around frantically, like panicking, and then like resigning myself to using a weapon very ineffectively.
All right. Feely.
Okay. So I think Feely would say to the pixies, truly we'll just be getting out of your hair now if you let us. I'll take the mushroom eating one with me. And is going to then use their bonus action to Fey step away, which is an Eladrin trait. So they're kind of like encircled by a swirling swarm of like flower petals and whatnot. And suddenly Feely is not there. And instead they are 30 feet away. If I can get behind this tree in the back corner, like really any tree, if it's roughly 30 feet away, is where I'd like to be.
We have an inch per 5 feet.
Oh, the ruler's coming out.
Dang.
I wouldn't say that you can get behind any trees. The closest that you could get to behind anything would be if you were to get some cover in here somewhere, or try to. You can only go about 6 inches.
Okay.
So, talking about there.
And
So you could make it to here.
yeah, that seems like the furthest away from any of the pixies, so that sounds good.
Except for this one right here.
Yeah.
Except for perhaps, hopefully, maybe it doesn't see you. Why don't you roll a stealth check?
Okay. And actually, I do still have movement then that I can use, so I'd probably actually use that movement to get behind the tree then. And that's only a 6 stealth though.
Okay. Alrighty. You are seen. And that pixie around here. And then zips back to have a proper shot at you with his bow. Their bow. Feely, was that your entire turn?
Yeah, because I'm not gonna attack or anything. So
Okay. Do roll a persuasion check though with disadvantage on the thing that you said. And also roll a perception check for me.
okay, the persuasion was a 14
Okay.
and the perception was an 8.
Alrighty. Thank you for that. The Pixie's arrow finds you, I think, with a whoops, hold on. Yeah, with a 19 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a Constitution saving throw, please.
Jesus.
Take 2 piercing damage.
Okay. That's 4 for my con save.
Oof. Okay. You can feel from the pierce of this tiny arrow, like electricity almost flowing into your blood. It tingles, and then it just hurts. You feel it begin to sort of swell and pulse, and you start to feel really sick. You've now taken on the poisoned condition.
Okay.
So funny, now that we're on a live stream and I have to like look up and specifically make sure that I have all the rules right and stuff, I'm realizing just exactly how fast and loose I've always been. I love this about myself, but I'm also excited to learn the rules better. Okay. So Flame, it is your turn.
Flame is going to say, if you won't stop attacking us, then you leave me no choice. And then he is going to stab the nearest pixie with his rapier.
Okay. You have a couple of options here. This one is flying pretty high. So if you want to jump in a cat-like fashion and see if you can leap up and stab it, that would be cool. Or if you want to use your movement, you could reach this one, who isn't flying quite as high.
Let's try the acrobatic stabby move. That
You
sounds fun.
fancy boy, you know you are.
Okay. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check, but do it with advantage. What do we got? Oh, dang, a 23 is gonna do it. All right, so springing off of the ground, drawing your weapon at the same time. What is it you're stabbing him with again? A rapier?
A rapier.
All right. Slashing towards this pixie hovering in the air. You look and you can see that this is a lovely little creature, but as it opens its mouth in a kind of a grinning giggle, it goes, and you see rows of incredibly tiny, sharp teeth. This hovering cloud of extremely quickly beating wings like a hummingbird. You can feel the air from it as you leap into melee range and make your attack. Go ahead and roll to hit. Just
where is
click
that
on,
again?
oh, just click on the rapier on your character sheet. It's going to be a D20 roll, which is adding your proficiency and your dexterity. So that
Yeah.
22 will definitely hit. The pixie was just not expecting you to leap up to its height like that. When you get up there, it's only, it's less than half your size. It's extremely tiny, tinier even than Wexlarn. But you slash at it. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Whoops. Five.
All right.
Bubbles.
Tower Hopefully Bubbles will see. All right. Kian, looking around you,
Yes.
everything's gotten very colorful. There are little rainbow trails around the pixies as they flit around. It's hilarious how they almost look like little photo animations or something. They're just these little rainbow skippy pictures across the stream, and it kind of fills your belly with joy in a way that you can't fully understand. Simultaneously, your vision is filled with like bluish drippiness. So go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw, and let's see how you're.
Crit 20.
Nat 20, dang. Well, you definitely know that this has happened before. This is not the first time in your however many hundreds of years you've been in the world, not the first time that you have had to function your way through having licked the wrong mushroom. So, you are figuring it out. You're still going to be enjoying disadvantage on your attack rolls and ability checks because you also have the poison condition. But what are you going to do?
Kian kind of looks around and is like, are we gonna die? Like grabs a small handful of pebbles and like casts a little cantrip called Magic Stone on them. So he's got like 3 rocks in his hand, which are like a little magic now. And
Right.
he just wants to like throw one at the pixie that shot at him, I think.
My bubbles aren't working.
Oh,
Try
okay.
again.
We'll imagine them. But...
Okay, imagine bubbles. This is Keith's world right now. Billy bubbly. Okay, so you see these pixies, and tell me again, what are you doing? Because I was distracted trying to get my bubbles to work.
Yeah, so as a bonus action, I am casting the...
Oh yeah, stones.
Yeah.
Roll to hit.
Okay.
Which one are you throwing it at again?
I said the one that shot at me, but that one might be dead. Just in the general direction of where the arrow came from that came at me, for sure. So maybe that...
I think that'd be like the blue one or the purple.
Okay, let's go for that blue one.
Okay.
Call my ear, you. Okay. That's with disadvantage. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay. Okay. So let's do some math.
Yeah, bubbles.
Woo.
Yay.
Oh. Um.
I really love bubbles. Did you roll to hit? How did it go?
I rolled to hit. I do not know what a ranged spell attack is, so I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, okay, great. So if you go up to the top of your spells part of your character sheet, it'll
Mhm,
give you your spell attack bonus.
mhm.
And that is also found by adding 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your spell ability modifier.
Mhm.
So I think that's charisma with you.
Wisdom, yeah.
Wisdom, sorry. So
Does
your
ranged mean I should be adding like dex or something, or is that just
no, it just means it's a ranged attack.
So I
cool?
do think the 8 plus all that is your spell save DC. I think your to hit is just proficiency and in Kian's case, wisdom.
You are
Okay.
absolutely correct about that. My mistake.
Okay, so that is a 13 then, as I just kind of lob a stone that's kind of a little glowy towards that blue pixie.
You throw it, it does not hit the pixie. It comes pretty close to hitting that puffy little mushroom at the down below the pixie, but it doesn't hit that either. What happens when it hits the ground? Anything?
Yeah, so the pebble that I threw just kind of like makes a little poof and then it's not glowing anymore. And I'm like, ah. And I think
Go ahead, Carter. What else?
oh, Kane's just kind of like gonna turn around and see what everyone else is doing, but I don't think he's gonna move any more than that. He's just gonna be like, "We okay?" And then just kind of glaze. Yeah.
Turns around with his eyes sort of glazed. Oh, we okay? And one of the pixies, the yellow one, closest to Astara, looking very angry at me, says, "We ain't joking. Nobody long shot." And swoops in with a tiny little sword to attack Wex. However, Wex is tiny and dodgy and out of the way as it just zips in like a little hummingbird with its pokey stick and fails to hit you, Wex. Zooming around you, it's going to get frustrated now and come over here. Also, about that same time, this one is zooming across the creek. This one is coming around the back. Next one comes around here. This very tall one has a hard time standing on these stands. Although I do have to say I'm proud of these stands that are made out of paper. And that yellow one is going to get an attack of opportunity from you if you would like to make one Wex as it leaves your melee range.
Wex is having some internet trouble right now.
He does seem to have gone in and out. Is he off the screen right now?
We don't have him on Zoom now.
He said he's restarting.
Alrighty. Well, I will go ahead and roll an attack of opportunity for Wexon. I'm sure he'll take it. Don't you all think he would do that?
I would if I were him.
What's he
That
got?
sounds exactly right.
Rolling a hit for Wex. Oh, that's gonna hit whatever he flailed with. A wrench. Wex pulls out a wrench from his backpack and clocks this pixie as it flits away. Dealing it. Whoa. Shower of sparks. At this point, Astara turns around and does a big dash to get behind the person who is furthest away from any enemies that she can get to, and that is you, Flame. As you stand there, this little girl comes rushing up to you and paying no mind to your tail or your fur or anything. She actually runs up behind you and grips a hold of your tail. I don't know how you do this, but that's what happens.
Flame looks a little bit uncomfortable, but he allows it.
Ah, what a good boy. Okay, suddenly arrows fly, 2 of them from across the stream. One at Epiphany with a 14 to hit. Does that hit you, Epiphany?
Nope, it doesn't.
Okay, and one at Kian with a 16 to hit. Does that hit you, Kian?
It does.
Okay, that dart is going to do you only 1 piercing damage, but I need you to make another Constitution saving throw.
15.
Okay. Apparently there's already enough poison in here. So you're like, whoa, that one feels a little weird. But that's about all you got. At this point, however, going to sit down, stab at you, Finnick. Ooh, with a 23. It's like a bee, but it stings really, really, really bad. Wow, it really looks like it's big, but it's not. It's really tiny. It's mostly wings. And so, however, that is going to do you 4 piercing damage, and take a Constitution save.
Well,
Yeah, with your 12, you're okay. That's what it takes. You can feel it again, but it doesn't get you again. You're a little afraid if you get hit again, how things will go.
yeah, Finnick's looking a little rough. He's about half the little map maker he used to be.
Okay.
No.
These move so fast. They're hard to hit and they're hard to see. The one that just zoomed in comes in on his belated whip. But with only a 9 to hit, I don't think that they're successful. And the black winged one is going to come at you, Kian, with an 18 to hit this time.
That also hits.
Okay.
Technicolor attacks, Kian. Oh no.
2 points of piercing damage as this tiny pixie, maniacally screaming, just slashes right into your face. It almost looks to you as if it's a cartoon pixie that's coming at you. And again, it just kind of seems so funny. This point, this little guy back here is going to fire an arrow at Feely with a 12 to Feely.
Yeah, that hits.
Oh no. Okay.
Wizard.
Doing you 2 points of piercing damage, and let's have a con save.
Okay. Uh, 12.
All right. That's what it takes. Feely, you know, having grown up here, you've brushed elbows with this type of fungal poison before. It's, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it does not feel good. Zipping through your blood. Finnick, we are back to the top of the round. What are you doing, my brother?
Right. Well, Finnick, having gotten his crossbow working, he's gonna try and run to the. Are these rocks connecting the stream?
The rocks in the middle of the stream there,
Yeah.
they seem to connect all the way across. Like, you mean, could you get across the stream on them?
He'd like to at least get on the higher rock if he can, if I can make it there, just to get higher ground.
Absolutely. Are you going to do a dash action to get to it?
Would I need to? No. No, he'll just get as far, he'll get as close to those as he can. And he'll go ahead and take a shot at the blue one. Seems to be flying, right?
This blue one here that was just in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, you two, you fire at him immediately after he slashes at you as you are running away. His slash misses. Your crossbow, how's that going?
Yeah, it's the hand crossbow. He just finally got it working. It's got the same kind of scopes and everything attached to it.
Okay, rolling to hit.
24.
Oh yeah, definitely hits.
6 damage.
Okay, not feeling good though. What you looking like?
What was that?
What are you looking like, Finnick?
He's looking pretty rough. That he just barely made it over there. He's kind of like holding himself against the rock. And again, the crossbow just reloads on its own. And he'll take a shot at. Is there a black one right here next to Kian?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll take a shot at that one as well.
All right, fire away.
24 again.
Okay.
6 again.
Mm-hmm.
Roll 20. And yeah, with that.
Back in a second.
Oh, cool. Yeah, with that, he'll just kind of lean against the rock and keep working on his crossbow.
Okay. right. Epiphany.
Could you just point out to me where I am in on the map? I'm just a little bit
You're right here. You're surrounded.
okay, perfect.
Above and behind you. One sort of behind you and below. And one immediately.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to be a really fancy girl and do a fancy spin with my bladed whip and just try to get at least the two that are closest to me.
Ooh, pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see if I can do it.
Okay, you're gonna roll to hit regular and then roll to hit with disadvantage for the second one.
The roll to hit was 20.
Oh, we will say that automatically hits the second one, and you can roll to hit with disadvantage for the third one.
Okay. The third one, my with disadvantage, is a 14.
Okay, that one does not hit, but you
Okay.
definitely hit the two that were closest to you. This bladed whip comes out. Epiphany spins around, horns sparkling in the sunlight that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Kian, you watch this with utter and complete fascination as this bladed whip twirls around like a performance ribbon. Go ahead and roll your damage. Epiphany.
That's 10 damage.
Showers of sparks. Ah! You're going to pay for this.
And Epiphany will say something. It sure is fun and kind of pretty to get them.
And Wexlarn. While Wex, are you back with us?
Yes.
Okay. While you were missing, you took an attack of opportunity and hit, right? Didn't hit?
Yep, with a wrench.
Took attack of opportunity with your wrench and clocked a pixie as it flew away from you. And now it is your turn.
All right. Are there any pixies near me?
I'm not within melee here. Looking around you, Ian's real messed up. Epiphany just took out two with one shot. Finnick is real messed up. He's just sort of leaning back on the rock, bleeding and sweating. Flame is over here looking uncomfortable with Astara holding on to his tail. Roll a perception check.
$16.
What do you got? Okay, you can see Feely is behind here, back behind this tree. And you can see that there are two pixies left, one here and one back. They are buzzing and screaming.
I'll just shoot at whichever one's closest to me.
All right, that'd be that greenish one right behind Epiphany. Go ahead and roll the hit.
22.
We're level 1 characters, guys. Like, we have no right to be doing this good.
I know, 22. Although people are getting hurt too.
I was gonna say, please speak for yourself.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your damage. That definitely hits.
4 points. I'm much more of an annoyance than an effective combat individual.
Well, you killed it.
Oh, touche.
Doing anything else?
Holy shit, did you guys see that? Then that's it.
All right, Feely.
Okay, so to clarify, how many pixies are left? And
There's just the one
just the
that
one.
is closest to you.
Okay. Okay, so Feely would yell out, I've been hit. I need medical attention. And cast mage armor, which they sort of draw like a glyph right above them in the air and pull it down as it like kind of goes all down their body. And just has a brief shimmer for a little bit. And just adds to my AC.
All right. And other than that, you're just chilling?
Did the pixie attack me with a bow or with a sword? Like, is it right up on me if I try and run away at all? Is it going to hit me?
You're not in melee range. It attacked you with an arrow.
Great. Then I will try and run kind of around behind Flame.
All right.
I'll join Astara, like cowering behind the cat.
I love it. Okay. This last pixie is going to sit down here and hover over all of you. Just sort of chatter away and scream. You're gonna pay for what you've done! You don't get to steal from the pixies without paying! It disappears. All goes quiet. Kian, what did you say?
Did y'all see that too?
Yeah, afraid so.
That was adorable and terrifying.
Epiphany, you made a lot explode.
It's a really nice whip.
I guess so. Is everyone okay?
Yeah, Phoenix kind of stumbling around. Yeah, not exactly, but alive.
I've just told you I've been hit.
Are you hurting, buddy? I'll go over and tap you on the back and cast Cure Wounds.
If anyone has a tummy ache, I've got a really nice tincture.
It's 12 points of healing, Finnick.
That's everything. Phoenix back up perfectly. Oh, thanks, pal. I'll pat him on the shoulder. Nice work with that wrench, by the way.
Yeah, it's magic. It's a magic wrench. It's not.
Did the river dragon do all this? Where did it go?
The what?
You know, like the big dragon that came out of the river, and then it smiled right at me.
I missed that.
And
you didn't miss anything. It didn't happen.
I don't. Are you?
I'd love to see this dragon you speak of.
Eat one of the mushrooms.
No, I don't recommend that.
Oh.
That's what started the whole thing. Please don't eat another one.
Well, my mom sure was right about the darn pixies. They're really pretty, but really not very nice.
Well, to be fair, he's starting just eating their shit and disrespecting their space. So I don't blame him.
I mean, it was good. Oh dear, the tall one, you're bleeding.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh. And I'll cast Healing Word on them. This is the first time Kian has noticed.
You get your like head about you a little bit and kind of woozily cast Healing Word.
I feel better.
Yeah, that's loads better. That's kind of the part of magic I don't quite understand, the healy bits. So, thanks.
Sure. We like almost died.
Yeah, is this normal? Does this normally happen? It seems like the Bear Festival is kind of a shitty festival.
Where's
Worst festival
Asura?
ever.
I'm having all right of a time.
Astara, are you okay?
Never seen angry fairies before. I've never seen any fairies before, but I didn't think they would be so angry.
Yeah, we really need to be careful what we touch here. It seems that we're being watched even when we don't realize we're being watched.
Yeah.
I feel weird.
Kian feels weird too.
She looks up at you, Flame, and she says, "What if they come back? He said that we would pay. Do you have enough money?"
Oh, don't worry, child. We will protect you.
Okay, that helps. Will you play for us?
Yeah. Flame pulls out his lute and starts playing a jaunty tune.
Whatever happened to the guitar?
Hmm?
Don't you have it? I said, whatever happened to the guitar? Don't you have it?
He's playing his guitar.
Oh, I meant in real life, my guitar.
In real life, you have it, I think.
I really? Maybe I do.
Yeah.
We share a guitar. Share custody, two different houses. Okay.
While he's playing, Wexlarn wants to go to the mushroom that Kian has already taken from and like cut off a little piece.
Okay.
That might not be a very good idea.
Oh, I'm experienced with poisons. It's okay.
You're gonna piss off those pixies again.
I have my
not
head
the
full.
pixies. No, it's not for the pixies.
No, but they think it is, so don't be messing with it. Take the bit Kian's already licked.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I think I've had enough.
You have.
Epiphany would like to look around and just see if there's anything of interest that she should take note of also.
Kian, as your friends are walking away and having conversations and stuff like that, you kind of like shake your head a little bit. It seems like you're starting to maybe come down off of it, but then all of a sudden, you see a shimmering unicorn come trotting across the stream. Its hooves don't make splashes, and it trots straight through Epiphany as she walks over, and then just comes to stand in front of you. Kian, says the unicorn, did you get hurt in the battle?
Yeah.
Do you require any healing?
Sure, if you know somewhere I can go, yeah.
It touches you with its horn right on your forehead. Chee! You hear like a little shooting star sound. Chee! You suddenly are filled with the strangest sensation of perfection. It feels giddy and sparkly, and 6 hit points are restored to you.
God.
The unicorn gives you a dramatic wink, and then tossing its little mane, trots away straight through Finnick. No one else seems to have seen this.
We're just watching her like, yeah, that'd be nice.
Kian's
If
like,
Finnick's just-
yeah, he's totally like not interacting with any of you, and definitely interacting.
Finnick, I hope you're taking notes about the Feywild and these mushrooms. This is most interesting.
Yeah, Finnick's actually going to be recovering his ammo and trying to find any of those little toothpicks they were shooting at us. Like, and he'll ask Wexlarn, do you happen to see any of those things anywhere?
Y'all can roll investigation. You can either each roll, or you can roll, one of you roll with advantage to aid, looking for specifically the arrows, those tiny arrows left behind.
I have proficiency in investigation if you guys want to back me up.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm good with that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and roll with advantage, Epiphany.
So that's a 22.
Oh shit.
Okay, you'll find all of the arrows. I think that's 7. You find 6 little arrows. They're small, they're beautifully crafted. They seem to be made out of some kind of bone. And then the tips are not metal, but are stone.
Should I be concerned about touching them at all? Are they?
They are, I mean, you know that they are tipped with poison, and so as long as you avoid touching the tips, you should be okay. Go ahead and make a dexterity check.
Okay. So that's only a 10.
Okay. You actually do manage to get through without jabbing yourself with any of them. You do get a little of the stuff on your finger, and it does feel a little bit weird, but it's not enough of a dose to give you any sort of an impact.
Okay.
But it definitely gives you the idea of how strong that poison is.
Right.
So you
You guys, these have something on them that's really, just be careful not to touch it. It's weird and strong. It's powerful, whatever it is.
Can I see one?
Sure, but be very careful. They're beautiful.
I'll like put my gloves on and like you like pull the goggles down. I'm going like full scale here. Like
okay. All right, you take a close look at it. You see that it is incredibly beautifully crafted, intricate little carving detail on it, small decorations along the edges, stripe down the side that seems like it possibly adds to whatever it's called, it speed through the air. It's fletched with extremely tiny little feathers. Roll a nature check really quick. With disadvantage because you're in the Feywild.
all right. I should say I'm specifically trying to figure out if I can tell what kind of poison it is and if I can duplicate it.
Okay, so that'll be separate from your nature check.
It was with disadvantage, it was a 10.
Okay.
The 24 sure looks good though.
You can tell, looking at these tiny feathery bits that the arrows are fletched with, that they're not from birds. That's all. And if you want to roll a check with your poisoner's kit,
okay,
to see if you can identify the poison and if you can duplicate it. Wex pulls out a couple of little bottles. He puts a little bit of fluid in one of them and then dips the arrow in it, shakes it around, it changes color, pours that colored fluid into another thing, shakes that around, it changes color again, dips an arrow in that one, all kinds of weird stuff.
16.
You think with the sample of mushroom that you have, that you could not duplicate it, but definitely synthesize something that would be a poison. You
Yeah,
can't
Finnick will
really
be
tell.
watching it. Yeah.
You can't really tell the ingredients of the poison that's on the arrow.
That's
Think
cool.
you
I
can
was
do
just
anything
trying
with
to,
this?
yeah, see if it like worked, you know, or if I was about to get myself into trouble with this mushroom.
So we should keep these because maybe we'll run into more pixies and we can trade with them if we hopefully don't upset them as much this time. Or maybe they're worth something and we can trade them with someone else. I don't have a weapon small enough for them though.
Yeah, Finnick will ask for one. Would you mind if I took one just as a sample? And he'll just hold out
No,
a
of
vial.
course. Here, just be very careful.
Yeah, he'll just hold out a vial.
Yeah.
Okay. You all get collected all the things that you want to collect. The pixies really did. They disappeared into little showers of glitter and sparks. There's just bits of glitter everywhere, but there don't seem to be any real remains of the pixies to deal with or loot or anything. They just seem to have exploded into beauty. Kian, you start to come out of your stupor. The visuals are diminishing quite a bit. Everyone doesn't have little skippy rainbow trails behind them anymore.
Still just kind of staring off into the distance that the unicorn left from and is like, I love this place.
Epiphany will respond with, yeah, it's really beautiful. A little hostile, but very pretty.
Astara walks up. She says, I wish the pixies would come back. Because then maybe we should try apologizing. Did anyone try apologizing?
We can definitely try that next time. I think that's a wonderful idea.
I want to say sorry. I know Kian didn't mean any harm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this whole place is beautiful and I'd hate to harm it more than necessary. I don't know. Yeah. Bailey, you said you'd been here before? Why would you leave somewhere like this?
Wanted to go study elsewhere. I did my growing up here, 90 years of it, and thought maybe going to the material plane could be good.
So do you know where the bear caves are, Feely?
Well,
Have you heard of them?
no, those are definitely on the material plane side of it. I feel like.
Roll a history check, Bailey. Not twisted.
Okay, 16.
You have heard of the Bear King, but you haven't heard of the Bear Cave, other than the Bear Cave on the material side. All you've heard of is the Bear King, who does have a court, the court of the Bear King. You don't know how close or far y'all might be from it, but that's the only thing that you know.
There's a Bear King we might find, but I'll be honest, I don't know that any of us are necessarily ready to see him.
Oh, yes, that sounds, for some reason, I feel more scared to meet the Bear King than to go to the Bear Cave. But if I have to, I will.
Honestly, Astara, if we can get back to the place that we were earlier, I can just take you to my circle and we can teach you how to be a druid. You don't have to go get hanging out with bears or anything.
Oh,
From my understanding, the bears are druids.
That might be possible, but my friend Clara always has wanted a little druid friend and has never once growled like a bear at me. So I don't know. It could be better this way, honestly.
your friend
It
wants
seemed like a pretty harsh custom to put a child potentially to death to maybe meet their full.
Oh, I guess it does. It just seems it's just what we do. I always knew since I was really small and the magic started. I always knew that I would go someday. And so you don't really think about it, but I guess it is kind of scary. I never knew any kids that didn't make it, but it does happen sometimes. It's just how they know that we're really meant to be part of the forest. Because if the bears don't, the I think it I think it's just because the bears can tell which ones are going to grow up to be evil. At least that's what the other kids say.
Ah, well,
And when they were making fun of me, they said that if the bear killed me, that would mean that I was going to be evil.
Well, seems like we've got a long journey to figure things out. So we can also take that journey and learn a lot more about what our next right step should be.
You're the bravest big person kid I've ever known.
Thank you, little grown-up man. And we'll take a break right here. We'll take 15 minutes, y'all. We'll see you back at, let's see, what does that give us? 6:38 Pacific.
sounds good.
Mhm.
Welcome back. As everyone filters in, we can hit a quick recap. During the first half of our evening, we rejoined our travelers who have been transported somehow into the bizarre plane of the Feywild. Beautiful and dangerous, the Feywild is fraught with mysterious beasts and strange fairy magics, some of which you've now encountered. Having licked the wrong mushroom, Keaton got in big trouble with pixies, and the whole group was up against a fight for their lives from a bunch of tiny, fuzzy, angry, toothy fairies. Astara brought up a good point as everybody was talking afterwards that maybe what they wanted was an apology. But at the end of the battle, one of the pixies escaped and zoomed off, talking about how you're going to pay for what you've taken from the Fae. You don't get to come and steal from us. And flew off. That ended kind of a creepy battle situation, after which Wex went about seeing if he could figure out what kind of poison was on the tip of the arrows, and if he could make something like it. He gathered up some mushroom for a sample as Kean is starting to come out of his trip-tastic adventure through the sparkly battle. Also, Epiphany collected arrows and discovered that they're made with incredibly beautiful marksmanship and tipped not with steel, but with stone. All of this being said, the Astara started trying to figure out what she should do, since no one seems to know where the bear cave is. And Feely brought up having knowledge of a bear king, but not a bear cave. I believe that's where we left off, ish.
Mhm.
Everyone said that sounded a little intimidating, right? Bear king.
I've always wanted to meet a king. I don't know about a bear, though.
Well, I don't think I have to be afraid. I don't think I have to be afraid of anything anymore. Look where we are. Look what's happened to us already, and we're fine, aren't we?
Yeah, some of us better than others, but I guess so far so good. Yeah, and it is quite beautiful. But we should probably work on finding a way back to where we came from, right?
I think so, although I kind of want to explore it here.
I think we have to explore to get to wherever it is we're going. And I think you're right, Astara. We shouldn't be afraid. We should be brave and bold, but just maybe not touch anything.
That sounds like a good idea.
You're both maybe a little bit wrong. And no, we should be afraid. Everything here is a little fickle, a little more temperamental than you might be used to.
Oh, okay.
So just watch yourselves.
Okay. Is there anything else we should do besides not touch anything?
But that's a very good start. But also, if we run into anybody, I'd say keep yourself very humble, quite frankly, none of you belong here. And it's very apparent. And you're a little, I don't want to come across too terribly, but inferior here. So keep that in mind, I guess.
Got a lot of problems with what you just said. First of all, I think touching things is the best way to learn a lot of the time. So I don't know what we're gonna be doing if we don't get to be touching things. And
yeah, it was a great way to learn that these pixies were about to kill us for touching them, huh?
We met some of the locals, and we also learned what it does. And I think some of those guys are excited about it, right? Like, I don't know, but this is what are you so worried about?
You've got a naive point of view, is all I'm saying. It's kind of hard to believe you're my kin of sorts.
That's the child.
Yeah, as they are saying that, Phoenix completely disregarding it and touching things and like adding to his map. He hasn't really heard anything to say.
He's touching things.
He's absolutely touching things. He's not disturbing them too much, but he is touching them.
That's where I'm at too. I am like constantly investigating our area right here. Like if we're standing here having a conversation, I'm looking around at stuff constantly.
Okay.
So is Epiphany. She's just not touching anything.
Okay. So Epiphany and Wexlarn and Finnick, as you all are wandering around in this area with the beautiful stream over the gemstones and the gemstones growing out of rocks and the little puffball mushrooms and the tall standing toadstool mushrooms that are almost as tall as you. Roll investigation, and you can either have someone helm it, or you can helm the roll, or you can each roll. However you want to do it.
I kind of prematured it, and I already rolled,
with
but
that
it was a 25.
That's a deep roll right there. So
I got a 21.
Man, we are rolling.
Yeah, I guess Finnick would be on his own too. 19.
okay. You
I don't think anybody's really working together right at this moment. So.
Yeah.
level one's just like with these goggle guys checking out their things with their goggles and their gloves. Epiphany just very gently eyeballing with curiosity. Each of you finds something interesting and special. Epiphany, moving toward the water. Do I hear Kato? Did you just get... He's so precious. I saw his little tail earlier. He had a nice tail going for a second behind your chair.
Shouts out.
So you see a cluster of green crystals that seem to be sprouting out of this gray stone, like a plant somehow. Looking around, you see many other clusters of the green crystals, and looking kind of deeply into them, you see that they're fractured and faceted within in a way that makes it so that they seem terribly clear, but that what you're seeing inside of them isn't in fact what's there. It looks like you're seeing almost shifting as the play of the light goes across the facets inside. You can almost make out shifting images of different things. There's a wing here and a flower there, a set of fangs here, just in the light interplay inside these crystals. They're very strange. They seem possibly magical in nature, definitely not anything that you've ever seen in the material plane.
Do one of you guys have a looking glass I could borrow?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So she's just gonna spend some time like getting real close and looking, and perhaps
tell her about your spyglass or your magnifying glass.
Well, it's strapped on the back of my pack, so it's like easily accessible. So I just like kind of reach back and grab it real easy. But it's like, you know, pretty well crafted. Definitely dwarvish, like ironwork, holding it's you know, it's like thicker than normal. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to look at really specific things, so it's like a lot heavier than you would expect it to be. also.
So how big is it compared to me? Is
To
it-
you,
Yeah.
it's like almost regular size.
Okay.
But like it's like almost the size of my pack. Like I literally strap it onto the back of my pack. So like for me, holding it up to my face, it's like this big.
Okay. All right. So Epiphany will take it and say, wow, thank you. This is beautiful. I'll be very, very careful with it. And then she'll kind of get down there and look and say, hey, Feely, have you ever seen anything like this?
I just said not to touch things.
I'm not touching, I'm just looking really closely.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's fair. And yeah, Feely will come over and take a look. They're a little curious.
Yeah. So they lean down and look through the magnifying glass, and it looks just like I described. It's as if the play of the light across the facets within the crystal create forms and images. You see a goblet as you're kind of passing through one of them, and as you look across another one, you see a claw, and looking through the other one, you see a pile of gold pieces sprinkling across it. It's almost as if it's never the same twice. You don't know what to make of the images, and they're gone just as fleetingly as they appear. But if you roll a history or a nature check for me, we'll see if you...
The 21 on history.
Okay, so you're familiar with these. These are used in divination drugs, basically, stuff that high level clairvoyance and other seers like to use for tapping into a greater degree of understanding, clearer sight.
Well, they're sort of used as a little bit of a focus in a lot of divination magic. So it's kind of cool if that's your specialty.
Well, it's not mine, but someone in that village told me that I needed to find someone that does higher magic and divination, maybe to help my village. Do you think, are there a lot of these around in the Feywild?
Not really. That with year 21, you would know that not really. And this is a lot of them, that they must be being farmed here.
No, there's really not a lot of them. It's more than I've ever seen in my life. And that includes at a university I was at. So we had a smaller stockpile there than there is here. I think this might be where we were getting them.
I think it's really important I talk to someone here and try to get some. I think they're going to be important for me. I really think I need to find someone that will trade some to me or something. This feels really important.
As soon as Feely says that they're super rare and that they also have magical abilities, I'm going to start looking for a loose one somewhere so I can take it.
Okay. Your investigation was a what, 24?
25.
25. So as you are looking around, you start with the mushrooms because those were the most fascinating to you and you're still trying to synthesize poison. And you find that one of those little puffball mushrooms, as you're carving off a little piece of it and testing it in your vial, is possibly the other component or another component in the poison that you're trying to replicate. So you collect a small sampling of that one, sort of looking around and checking to see if there's any pixies coming back. You don't hear any whizzing or whirring of little hummingbird wings or anything like that. So you're carving off a little piece of that, pretty certain that this is going to get you to where you need to be in terms of synthesizing that poison. And as you do, you are overhearing this conversation about these crystals. So you look over and you see that it's the green ones that are growing in clusters, and you look around and you see that they're growing in multiple locations. So you go over to kind of the smaller clusters that are growing near the edges of the water and just start sort of poking and prodding at them. As you do, I'll have you make a dexterity check.
8.
You slip a little bit as you're poking at one of them. A mossy rock is slicker than you were expecting. And not only do you dislodge one of the crystals with a snap, but it drops into the water and sizzles as it meets with the water. Little bubbles rise, and some kind of steam or smoke, color bluish green, rises from the stream as the crystal dissolves and makes a bubbling, sizzling, sort of foaming trail down the stream. It does not look like something that was supposed to happen.
The river.
I don't know what I just did, but it was amazing.
Would we have noticed this happening, Feely and I, while we're talking?
Roll a quick perception.
No.
I rolled a 21.
Yeah, you saw it.
Oh, what was that? What just happened?
I was calmly and carefully walking along the bank over here, and my foot bumped one of these little crystals, and it fell into the water, and then it was foaming and fizzing, and it was like a weird colored smoke. We should put more in the water.
You went to waste valuable research materials.
No, I'm gonna fill my backpack first. I just feel like we should investigate this. What if it starts raining and it's inside of my backpack?
I think maybe we should find someone who knows what these are and ask them about them. I don't want to make the pixies mad again.
Yeah, that's true. That wasn't very much fun.
As you are conversing about this and watching these little sizzly bubbles trail down the stream again, you start to hear a sound. You hear like a it's not a good sound. It sounds, kind of that. And
Well, that's unsettling.
what?
Well, that's unsettling.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope we didn't upset someone again already.
You notice that the bubbles, while not exactly dissipating in the stream, actually seem to be expanding a little bit, maybe. The area of the water that was affected by this crystal that you dropped into it's sizzling maybe even a little bit more, and it doesn't seem to be really dissolving, but instead sort of spreading through this stream. And downstream, just a little ways from underneath a rock, you all look as you see something really, really quite terrifying. Beginning to make its way.
In hindsight, maybe we don't put another one in.
Okay. Here's where you knocked one off. And Feely is talking to Epiphany over here. And Finnick, did we we talk about where you were?
No, he was just investigating in general. I think he'd probably be by one of the trees, maybe, looking at the local flora. Just working on his map.
Okay, and the star is just going to be kind of sitting and resting as this just insanely terrifying insect. It looks as if it at one time possibly was a regular beetle. Here, I'll show you a closer look since you can see it as your characters.
Ooh, hate that.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's not a good situation.
So that's what's happening now. As the bubbles sizzle down in between the stones, it appears that they're having a bit of an impact. Or maybe upsetting someone who was already there. But this seems to be you can almost see it still like growing as it's approaching. It looks like you accidentally made some kind of a fucked up potion.
Oh dear. Well, Astara, you should get behind someone. It seems we've upset something, and it seems big.
What's happening? She looks around. She runs back behind the tree. Phoenix, sir, I'm really scared. What's everyone doing? So far,
Phoenix
it's
just noticing this.
What?
Phoenix just noting this as it.
Right.
With the scream, he finally notices there's something there.
Right.
Epiphany's like, maybe it's not a foe yet. Maybe we should try to talk to it.
I'm not sure what language it speaks, but I'm willing to try.
We can sure ask, right?
I think we jumped the gun with the pixies, so maybe we should try to just take an easier approach. We don't know what the people are like around here.
As y'all are talking, it's coming closer.
All right.
Oh, great bug. What do you want?
I'll take a step towards it for sure. Like, say there, friend. Are you growing in size because of the crystal? Is this related? It must be uncomfortable. I can't imagine it feels good to grow so big so fast.
Pinchers extend toward you as you're talking. They open up, and it's coming so close to your face as you're speaking. You duck back a little bit, and just in time, these pinchers snap together, the huge jaws, each one much larger than your face. If this had snapped down, it could easily have beheaded you. Roll initiative.
Oh shit.
Is the poison worn off of anyone who was poisoned during that last battle?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Do we have any 25s to 20s?
Right after those, I should say, right after the jaws come down over, like in front of my face, I'll say, I should have tried Gnomish.
And Epiphany will respond with, well, we tried to be nice. I think it's time to defend ourselves again.
Oh, don't get
All right, do we have
any
25 to 20? What did you say, Kian?
Oh, just don't be so certain that we can't befriend this thing.
All right, any 20 or 19 to 15?
Feely got a 17.
It's 16 here.
Uh, 14 to 10.
11 for Kian.
9 to 5.
5 for Wex.
Tiffany got a 9.
What you got, Flame?
4.
Sweet. Okay, the bug snapping down a second time with a 15 to hit on you, Wexline.
That hits. That is
Okay.
that is my AC.
Pinchers, you've dodged out of the way enough that they're not grabbing onto your actual neck. However, you take 5 piercing damage as they snap down on your arm. Fortunately, it's not your shooting arm, but you are in trouble. Feely, your turn.
So Feely will back up.
Oh, actually, the bug, my bad, hang on. Hang on. The bug, in fact, also grasps Wex and begins to take him with it as it does its movement. Wex, you're now in the water and in these pinchers. You can also make a strength saving throw.
I'll give it a whirl. Oh shit. 16. With my -1.
Okay. You are not currently grappled. It just grabbed and pushed you, basically. So, beginning, you do not begin your next turn grappled. Sorry, Feely, go ahead.
Yeah, so Feely is gonna step back about the full 30 feet of movement that he has, or they have, along the bank of this river. And is going to cast Firebolt. So once again, draws this like shimmering glyph in the air in front of them. And this time it's like glowing reddish and yellowish, like kind of in that color range. It's a very intricate looking glyph, and then pushes their hand through it. And yeah, so that'll be Firebolt. That's only an 11 to hit though.
I love Firebolt. That's such a great spell.
11 does not hit. I'm so sorry. It glances off the incredibly hard armored chitinous outside of this creature's exoskeleton. Feely, do you have anything else?
Nope.
Finnick.
All right, yeah, he'll turn to a star and like, just stay here, kiddo. Back in a flash. And seeing that Wex is in trouble, he'll get a little bravery. How close can I get to that thing?
Pretty close.
Can I get on its back?
You can get pretty close enough to it with movement that I would let you do it with an acrobatics check.
I'd like to make an acrobat.
Yes.
Okay, give that a roll.
Eight.
8. Okay, you leap up into the air. You give it your best shot. Tumble. You land sort of tangled in the legs of this creature.
No.
What next?
I can still act.
Yeah, you may attack. Yeah, we'll call the acrobatics check a bonus action. It was
Okay.
a leap.
So yeah, he'll actually pull out the heavy crossbow, and from under it, he's going to try and shoot. Now that I'm up
Okay.
against it.
You'll be shooting with disadvantage because you're at such close range.
Crossbow expert.
Oh, beautiful. Good job. Okay.
Nice.
18.
Oh shit.
Heck yes.
Yes.
That's it.
Damn. Very sexy of Finnick.
Yes.
10.
Dang.
Like Wex is totally convinced you meant to do that
Hopefully it looks that way.
because of how effective it was.
Feely is too.
You load your crossbow. You're like deep inside of its personal space with its legs sort of glittering around you. You load your crossbow quickly, cha-chunk, thunk, and it squelches deep inside this creature's body through the exterior. You can hear the crackle. It crumbles like a pie crust on the side where you hit it. And this Icarus black ooze starts to leak out from the creature on you as you're standing there. It's a little bit sizzly as it gets on your clothes. Make a quick dexterity save for me and see if you can get that stuff wiped off.
Oh, just straight dex.
Yeah, dex save.
17.
Okay, with your 17, you see it gets onto the end of your scarf. You whip your scarf off and just kind of throw it down next to you as the Icarus blood of this creature sizzles and eats through the scarf.
Yeah. And yeah, Finnick will just be like, all right, Wex. And that'll be the end of his turn.
But that's all it got on as of now. Kian, it is now your turn.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out the right question to ask to figure out whether in-game Kian would know if he would be able to use like a spell for like a beast, like animal kind of thing, or if this seems more intelligent or magic.
You can just roll an insight check for that.
Insight? Okay. Okay, that's a 17.
This is a beast. It's not a it's sentient in the sense that it has consciousness, but it's not a sapient humanoid level intelligence.
Okay. If I get that vibe, I think I'll cast Animal Friendship.
Okay.
I will read the highlights of.
Oh my god, I hope this works.
So essentially, I'm just convincing this beast that I don't mean it any harm. If its intelligence is 4 or higher, this doesn't work, but otherwise it makes a wisdom saving throw or I have charmed it, basically.
Okay, what's your spell save DC for that wisdom save?
14.
It fails.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh my god, animal friendship lasts for 24 hours.
Woo! Yeah. Or until any of y'all motherfuckers shoot it, so please be careful. And I think Kian would just say, he doesn't mean us any harm, please just let him go and he'll let you go kind of thing. Leave him alone.
The feelers and the pinchers kind of stop clamping on and just begin almost sort of caressing you, Wex. You've got just a little bit of tickliness on you, and you look down and you recognize that the arrows that you were investigating earlier were fletched with some kind of insect or arachnid fibers rather than feathers. You see this now because you're real close into this creature. But at this
Just
point,
like walk over, and that'll be his turn.
it stops making any aggressive movements. Epiphany, it is now your turn.
Okay. So I think Epiphany wants to definitely not attack it. Maybe let's see. Finnick, does its blood seem to be acidic?
I'm gonna go hold up his scarf. Yeah, it would
Yeah.
appear so.
Okay. Well, do you guys think we should maybe, I hate to say, but maybe we should heal it and just let it go?
Oh, wait 1 second. And I'll throw one of my empty potion bottles down to you underneath there, Finnick. And like, will you get a sample?
Yeah, Finnick would like to try and catch that and see if he can get a little bit real quick.
Okay, both of you guys do dexterity checks for the throw and catch. You both have to beat a 12.
Oh God. I didn't.
Oh, I don't think I need to roll.
That was a 4. Yeah.
Actually, right here.
Okay, so you throw that 4. Go ahead and roll a d4 for me in just a second. Okay, roll a d4 for me.
3.
Okay, fortunately, when you throw this, you do not throw it mistakenly at the creature, which would then have most definitely broken the animal friendship spell. You do, however, throw your glass vial into the rocks and it breaks.
Okay. I will grab another one because I I have a couple more. Just in case.
Finnick, after seeing that, like, hey, I think I might have one.
Oh, okay.
I do have a vial.
Oh, okay, cool. That's
I think I
much
can get it.
easier. It's much easier.
Okay, now make a dexterity check for collecting some of that acid.
Oh,
Sick. I'm not touching the thing. I'm just holding it under.
So apparently my roll 20 is frozen and is not
So what was the roll?
loading
this is 6.
roll.
6?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, roll a d4.
Uh, 3.
With your 3, you do not get any on you. You do, however, destroy part of the thing that wraps your configuration onto your hand. It gets some acid on it. It's not enough that it like renders your thing inoperable. It doesn't remove it from your hand, but part of the thing is destroyed and you're going to have to mend it, or it will eventually fall off of you.
Okay. Finnick will just wrap that up like, yeah, sorry, buddy. Not working.
It's really harsh stuff.
It was worth a try.
Okay, so the bug is just kind of sitting there, wiggling its legs a little bit. You can tell it's in visible pain as it seems to be sort of, more strongly wiggling the legs around where you are, Finnick.
Finnick would also like to move away since we're not in combat. He's just going to slowly back out of there.
Yeah, best to leave it alone, and Flame or somebody, do you know how to help this guy out?
I think I can help him. Yeah.
Oh, hold up. Before you do that, little short one, did you want me to try and collect some of the the sample, and Feely draws another glyph in the air, and this one's sort of got like a silvery light to it. Puts their hand through it, and then like a phantom hand comes out from that and casts Mage Hand.
Okay.
It's like, I think I might be able to do something with this that's a little less dangerous.
Oh my God, yes, please.
And I'll try and use the Mage Hand to get under there before Flame tries to seal up the wounds.
Okay, roll a dexterity check.
Please be careful.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay, easily the mage hand slips in underneath, brings the bottle back to you. You cork it. It takes it to Wex. Wex, are you still hanging out in the pinchers?
Not like in the pinchers, but I'm like trying to be like I've switched to gnomish when I'm talking now to the insect creature because I think in my mind that it's working. Like that was my plan for battle, was to switch to gnomish. So I'm like, talking to it like, hey big fella, you've got to be itchy. Like, this can't be okay. And I'm like trying to scratch it under its chin, like it was a big animal.
It
I'm
doesn't.
like not in the pinchers, but like kind of
Right.
standing.
Yeah,
near it.
it doesn't seem to be having really any reaction to the scratching. But roll an animal handling check.
Nine.
Yeah, it's hard to find its spots. It's not like a dog. That's all you can tell, is it just doesn't seem to be like a dog. But now y'all have a sample, so is somebody going to give that healing a go?
Yeah, Flame will walk over there and do healing touch, I believe.
And what does that look like?
So he claps his hands together, and then he's like wiggles his fingers and then touches the beetle, and sort of magic emits from his hands, sort of.
All right. Healing touch is how much? I rolled 20 isn't loading.
Just a second.
There it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cure wounds.
Here it comes.
And that's 1d8 plus my spell casting modifier.
All right.
Remind me where that is again. So my modifier would be charisma, right?
Yep.
So 2.
Cool. So /r space 1d8 plus 2.
Five.
All right. It doesn't close all the way up, but it mostly closes and it stops actively leaking and scabs over the rest of the way. The exoskeleton kind of peels back in and begins to seal to itself. It visibly seems to be relieved, even though it's not perfect. And then what y'all gonna do?
Does he?
Finnick would ask Kian, it seems like you're able to talk to it. Any chance you could apologize for me? Thought it was going to kill Wex.
No, that's perfectly understandable and all. honesty. I think it understands we're on good terms now, and I like go over and just kind of like gently pat it and be like, you're in good hands now. I don't know that we can do anything else for you, but we also won't hurt you anymore if you want to be on your way.
It seems to understand you this time a little bit, and turns to face you, waving its little feelers a little bit towards you as you're talking, kind of lifts up a slight amount, rather intimidatingly, and waves feelers towards you. However, it doesn't walk away.
Well, it appears we just have a bug companion now.
If he wants to hang out with us, that's perfectly fine with me. Maybe he's hungry or something. And I'll like look around to see if there's any like berries on a tree nearby that I could feed him or something.
All right. There are a lot of berries on trees, definitely. It's real easy to pick them out. However, roll a nature check with disadvantage to see if you can identify what's safe to touch.
Can I actually?
Yeah, I would ask for
Ian with
Felix's
that?
help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think I'd be going over people's shoulders and like, to be like, no, not that one. No.
Totally. Yeah, you can counteract the disadvantage for sure.
Yeah, I think Kian has had his fun today and now is ready to trust the natives. So, 15.
Okay, with your 15, you find a berry. There's crazy berries on these trees. The berry is like this big, but you find this berry and bring it over to him. Do an animal handling.
Okay.
Or to them. Who knows what this beetle is gender-wise?
Yeah. 22.
Yeah, he loves it. They love it. The beetle loves the berry. They take it in their pinchers, and their secondary pinchers from underneath start breaking off little pieces of the berry and feeding it into this like mouth that opens the wrong way, and then it opens the right way, and then it opens sideways again. It's really kind of a terrifying animal. It would be fine if it was the size that it was supposed to be, but at the size that it is, it's just quite disturbing, especially to watch it eat. But it does love the berry.
All right. Well, if everyone's had a good look at this thing, I think we can give it some peace and be on our way, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's go. Except I really want to try and find someone that knows what these crystal things are. I still really, really feel like they're important for my village.
No,
We're out of the woods yet.
that's great and all, but we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So no one's really going to be knowing anything about them here because there's no one but us. Elf friend, can you talk to the thing at all or no?
No, we have a mutual understanding of a kind of a trust with each other, but we're not on speaking terms per se. I'm not up to that right now, if that's sorry.
No, that's fine. Do you have a name? I don't think I've learned it.
Oh, sure. Should we all go in a circle and say our names and our favorite color? Just a joke. My name is Kian. My favorite color is green, if anyone's asking.
Well, great. I'm Feely. You probably can't perceive my favorite color, so. No good.
The horned one is a Epiphany. I have met her before.
I'm Epiphany, and I love all the colors.
Ah, that's a beautiful name. Did you choose it yourself or did your parents give it to you?
My parents gave me a different name. It's an infernal name. And we just really don't know each other well enough yet.
No, that's fine. That means you picked out your own name, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, Finnick will, where are my manners? And he'll pull out his identification. Finnick Woodrow, Cartography Guild, Temporal Anomalies Division, cadet. And he would also go back to Astara just to keep his promise. He said he'd be back. So. Make sure she's okay.
She's grateful. She just takes your hand and kind of holds it as she walks out from behind the tree.
And the troublemaker, short one.
Wexlarn is probably metal.
Right.
I'm also gonna be like, I still want one of these crystals, or preferably more than one. So
That's the
there's
fuzzy
nobody
seller's-
we can ask, so we gotta take the crystals to the person. Who knows if we'll ever be back here?
So, to be clear, your plan is to just take these crystals up to a bunch of random people who likely don't know what they are.
No,
Well,
I
someone's
figured I'd
farming
do it
them. You
too.
said someone must be farming them. I'm
They
on a
are?
mission to save my village, so I have to be somewhat discerning, but I also have to be somewhat bold.
I think the best bet there would be to go somewhere that we know they are being used and talk to them about it there, and not keep knocking them into the river on accident.
Yeah, no more in the river. That was not fun. That was a bad idea. I mean, accident. That was an accident.
And the fuzzy loot is there. Do you have a name?
Flame has been steering off into space and kind of doing his own thing. He's like, what? Oh, I am Flickering Flame, but you may call me Flame.
Thanks.
Well, then, where do you suppose we go to find the people that use these?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't really want to find anybody here. I just kind of want to find a portal back home. I know it's important to you, but the longer we're here, the more bad stuff that can happen.
So Epiphany turns to Wexler. Wexler is like, and says, maybe just grab a couple.
Yeah, just like 8 or 9. It'll be just a few.
That's not a couple.
7,
No.
4.
If you're very careful.
Number.
We need at least 3.
Go for 3 or 4. It's getting late though.
How do you figure 3 or 4? 1 seems like enough.
Well, I need 1. And Epiphany said she needed 1.
No, but why do you need 1?
And a couple is never 1 if you think about it.
I think it might be able to help me do a thing, but I'm not sure. My cart's back in town. I can't find out until I'm back at my cart.
Epiphany's like, just a handful. Wink.
This is a much rarer resource than anything. Oh, you lot are giving me a headache.
If it's that rare, do you want to like buy a town or something? Like we should be taking all of this.
Right.
God,
Yeah,
what-
don't tell him that it's really rare.
What sort of morals do you have? Oh, none. Great. No morals.
I just build things. I don't understand.
Honestly, with the headache and the minor scratches that we got from the pixies and such, it might be a good time to just find a soft space to call it a night. I know that the weather or the lighting around here isn't making it clear, but we have had a long day, you know.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Suppose that's fine, but maybe let's get a bit away from where the pixies know we are.
Yeah, and I would hate to be bothering this beetle when he woke up too.
Yeah, pretty much everything downstream of those bubbles feels like a bad idea.
And whose fault is that?
Freak accident. It was crazy.
So Wags,
You seem a bit crabby. We should probably find a spot to lay down.
how many crystals are you going to try to gather, Wexlarn?
You know, like I'm kind of small, so I really probably only can grab like 4 or 5 myself. But I encourage anyone else who wants to grab some for themselves.
Yeah, Epiphany will probably very quietly grab a couple herself.
Okay, so Epiphany, roll a sleight of hand. And Wexlarn, probably also a sleight of hand.
He's just gonna turn to Feely and be like, "Where did we find these people?"
I rolled a nat 20.
Oh,
Nice.
Damn.
That's beautiful. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Not only do you have no trouble gathering them, but you're able to actually, what did you roll, Wex?
18.
You're able to actually show Wexlarn how to gather them safely, so that between the two of you, you gather 8 of them. You have 4 each of different sizes. And Epiphany, with your nat 20, as you are gathering it, you stop real quick at the last second. Make sure that your gloves are on. And something says to tell Wex the same thing. So neither of you touch any as you're gathering them. You safely put them in bags with nothing else.
I want to wrap them in my like traveling clothes too, so that they like hopefully don't get wet or anything.
Yeah, Epiphany will definitely carefully package them in her burglar's bag.
Okay. You two, as safely as possible, stash away 4 each. So Wex, make sure that you have in your inventory samples of 2 kinds of fey fungus, acidic beetle blood, and these 4 crystals. Epiphany, 4 crystals as well. Did I miss anyone? Okay.
And I have 4 pixie arrows, and Wex and Finnick also have 1.
Yeah, and did I find anything with my investigation, the 19, like before it all?
Oh, right. Okay, so mushrooms, crystals, and yes, with your 19, you discover that the fern-like shrubberies around that have either blue or red flowers inside are in fact animals, not plants. As you come close to them and begin plucking one of the berries, one of the giant blue berries off of a cluster, you just kind of lift it and begin to pull at it slightly, and the entire bush shakes, and a mouth opens down inside, as the branches begin kind of reaching and pulling towards you. You didn't really have a hold of it or have your hand in there, but you definitely discover that several of the bushes are in fact carnivorous and probably are animals.
Cool. I love carnivorous plants.
That is
Yeah,
dope.
Pinnacle, go ahead and let everyone know. These ones specifically, don't touch. And he'll leave it alone.
Nothing else seems to have come along, and as y'all make your way up the stream, past the place where it comes out of the rocks in its fresh spring, into this fey landscape, moving toward the northeast direction, if the directions are the same as they are in the material plane. Mm-hmm. You all stepping carefully, listening quietly, feeling a sense of possibly maybe a little bit of respect or even to intimidation about the landscape. Astara tromping along, bravely looking around, every now and then giving a small smile to one of you when she meets your eye. She seems to be very happy to be on the move. And at one point she does say, you know, it's okay to be scared, and if I stop for very long, it just gets worse. Do you have that? Any of you?
Yeah.
Very much so.
The Epiphany's like, no, but it's okay to be scared.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm meant to be an adventurer like you are.
If you're here, child, yes.
I'd like to clarify, I don't classify myself as an adventurer, but really more of a scholar. So just to be clear, there's a difference.
Oh. What
Same.
what do you study?
I study the weave of magic.
I love magic. Do you think you might want to teach me some magic too?
I don't have an issue with it. Are you, I guess I'm curious, are you dead set on being a druid, or do you think your magical talents could take you elsewhere?
I don't know. We don't have very many options in Dwera. If you don't have a very wealthy family, then you just go to the druids. If you have a wealthy family, then maybe you can go to one of the schools. But I don't, so I never even thought about going to a school. I just always knew I would grow up to be a druid from the time my magic started happening.
Well, I've got a mentor in Shonvale. I could probably introduce you if you'd like.
Oh.
So keep it in mind.
I don't have to be a druid. But Kian, you said your friend wants to teach me how to be a druid, right?
Yeah, that's true, and I think it would be a maybe a more affordable path for you for sure, as you've been expecting. There are lots of people who would appreciate your company, Astara, and we can sort out the particulars of that when we get back to where we are headed.
Material plane. That's what we call it. We just call it the middle world in Dwera, the one between the Feywild and the Underdark.
That's a good name for it.
Oh, good. Or some people call it the Shadowfell, and some people think that there's a difference, and some people think that there's not. But I don't know.
What's all that about?
It's just like the Feywild, but instead of being bright and scary, it's dark and scary.
So it's more like this.
What?
Dark and scary.
But this is light.
Astara, I bet one day you're going to learn magic and you'll be able to see in the dark and it won't be so scary anymore. I have dark vision and it's really not so scary.
I love that. I do get very frightened in the dark.
Oh, I can teach you one little spell, probably, to help with the dark thing for you. And Feely casts a cantrip, draws like really quick 4 separate glyphs in front of them, all like a shifting rainbow of colors. Like it starts off red and goes to purple, and each circle moves through them, and just like spreads their hands out past them, and then casts the cantrip Dancing Lights, which creates 4 little orbs of lights, and says, "I'd be happy to teach this one to you, and then you never have to be in the dark again."
Okay, I want to learn it.
Great. We'll take the time when we have a little rest. We'll go over it together.
Should we start a fire and maybe settle in?
Been a long day. I think that would be a good idea. The lights are deceiving around here. It's gotta be late by now.
I feel pretty tired.
Do we need to start a fire, though?
Why not?
Well, I don't really want to be burning any of this wood, and it's still, we don't need the light source, and I don't know, seems wrong.
Well, that's fair enough. I'd hate to do anything to the plants that doesn't need to be done. Should we take watches tonight, do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, please.
At least 2 at a time if we can manage it.
Finnick's still working on his maps as we go, so he'll like offer. I can take the first watch. I still have a little work to do. And he'll hold up his configuration.
You all do notice that it has gotten pretty late, and you know that it was growing dark as you'd gone to the bear ceremony, and several hours have passed since then. And as you've walked further away from the area by the stream where you caused some conflict and controversy, it's begun to feel a bit safer. Finnick is taking first watch. And who's on second?
Are we doing pairs?
Oh, right, pairs.
Like to.
Feely would like to ask Astara how tired she's feeling, and if she's up for staying up a little bit later and like teaching her the Dancing Lights cantrip would want to.
I know I should be tired, but if it's okay to stay up later, I do want to.
Just a little bit, just long enough to teach you the basics of it, get the theory in your head, and then you'll be off to bed. And Finnick and I will stay up and make sure we'll be safe.
Okay, I'll be really good, I promise. Thank you for letting me stay up late.
Okay, so we have Finnick and Feely. And then second watch.
I'm down for second.
As he suggests taking watch, Finnick will just like, he's brilliant, but he does get a bit distracted, like myself, so someone should stay up with him.
I can do that.
Wax and Kian. And that leaves Epiphany and Flame for third watch.
Mind if we
What was that?
I was just asking Epiphany and Flame if they minded waking up early for watch.
Oh no, I like to wake up with the sun. That's when all the magic happens in my village.
Love to hear more about that someday, but for now, let's get some rest.
All right. As everyone starts to turn in, Finnick, you're taking care of your last touch-ups on your map that you've created during the course of the day. Go ahead and roll a check with your cartographer's tools and see how accurate of a map you've made. Seven. Okay. Working late into the night, you do start to realize how tired you are, and there's some things you're just not remembering correctly, and rather than put them down wrong, you just leave them blank. So there are more blank spots on your map than you want there to be after the day that you had, but you do have some new knowledge and new information. You're finding that the more you reach into your memory to try to remember exactly how things have gone and what was where and how far did the stream go before it disappeared into the rocks, and all of these questions, they seem to be evasive until it's hard for you to remember what the stream looked like or how far it was from where you stopped. And by the time your watch is over, you're struggling to even understand the distance between anything that you've put on your map. You're beginning to really understand how the Feywild seems to defy cartographers. Feely, Astara's excitedly sitting in front of you, and she's taken off her backpack and her big heavy cloak and is kind of rubbing her hands together and says, "Okay, I'm ready."
Okay. So tell me, little one, when you say you've had magic and the energy flowing through you, what does that feel like to you?
Well, for me, it feels like, well, this is kind of, it's a little embarrassing. Is that okay?
No, there's no wrong answers or anything. Just tell me what you feel.
So, I have a little crush on somebody in town. Just this boy who's really cute. And the magic, when it happens, it kind of feels like that, but a lot bigger.
Sort of like a rush through you, like a swelling.
Yeah, like that. Like fluttery and swelling.
So that's you accessing the weave of magic, which is the interconnecting energy between all living things. And it's so big and it's so fast, but it's also so slow and it's so small. It's all things. And if you know how to be in tune with it, you can start plucking at the strings and manipulating it.
I want to do that.
So the Dancing Lights cantrip, in my experience, is a lot like that fluttery feeling you're talking about. It's very ephemeral. It's very, living, breathing. So you want to find that energy. You want to focus in on it.
Okay.
And then you sort of just imagine it taking shape. And I do find I I've been learning magic a very long time, and I draw a lot of glyphs because all of magic has, I mean, there's words, there's language to describe it, and there's true meanings behind it. And if you can find those, if you know those, that can help you access it. So I sort of draw that out, spell that out in front of me, and use that to communicate what I want the weave to do. Does that make any sense?
I don't know. I think so. It's always so big for me that I don't know what, I don't know if I could do that. It's hard to, that would be like trying to braid a waterfall. It seems like too much, but I do understand. I think I understand what you said. And maybe if you teach me how to make the symbol, that will help me and make it easier.
I can certainly teach you that. I admit I a little bit forget what it felt like to be so young, learning all this magic, and I get that. It's big, it's strong, it's hard. But if I help you, I can help you channel it for these first few times, and then, you know, eventually you can learn it on your own and do it on your own. And I think Feely would help Astara, would guide her hand in drawing all these glyphs.
Okay. As you two are working together and her hand becomes less jerky and more graceful underneath of yours, her body almost starts to vibrate. She becomes her breath gets a little bit short, and you hear a little oh, and then this comes up out of her. It's like this, almost like a surge of magic, and it sprouts out of her all of a sudden a bunch of flower petals and butterflies explode out into the air in front of her and flutter around in front of her, in front of both of you for a little while. Did you just are there looking at them? Oh no, well, this one wasn't so bad. Sometimes really, really bad things happen.
No, that was truly an excellent start.
Oh, really? But I didn't do the lights right.
I didn't do the lights right for 10 times. And then I sort of got it. And then 30 times later, I really got it.
Even you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Magic's so incredibly complex. It'll take some practice.
Okay.
But that was a great start. You clearly tapped into it.
I'll keep practicing then. But I think I should have somebody near me when I try, because like I said, sometimes really bad things happen. Please don't be mad at me if they do.
Dear, I couldn't be mad at you for that. It's not your fault. Just keep, I'd say myself or Kian would be a good option to have near you when you try stuff.
Okay. Yeah, you both seem really good at magic, and Kian said that he would teach me Druidom. So, thank you. I'm really tired now.
Yeah.
That happened with the butterflies. The butterflies and the flower petals are starting to fade. They go a little bit transparent and translucent, and then they eventually fade away. You can tell from looking at them that it's some form of illusion that's spraying out of her. But yeah, it disappears as she gets more tired and finishes talking with you, and eventually goes and curls up next to Flame, cuddling into his fur. As you two are finishing your watch, you notice that it has been remarkably quiet. There aren't a lot of bird and bug sounds here in this part of the Feywild. It's not dark. It's a strange feeling. The beauty of the summer twilight begins to wear on you. And Ophelia, obviously you're used to it, but it's stressful for its own reasons to be here. So waking up Wex and Kian from an uneventful first watch, it's time to pass it on. So Wex, how do you wake up? Oh, you're muted.
I said probably disoriented,
Okay.
but also excited. I have so many things to investigate. There's so much to do.
All right. Kian, how do you wake up?
I've just been meditating this whole time, so when
Oh,
I
right.
notice that they're starting to wind down, I'll just open my eyes and hop over.
All right. Yeah, it's pretty easy for elves to come out of their meditation. So 4 hours have gone by. Kian, you're good for the night, for your long rest. And Feely and Finnick, to get your 8 hours, you'll need to head into your long rest now. Wex, as you contemplate what you're going to be getting into during your...
Yeah, I also do the trance thing, so 4
Elf
hours.
squad.
Cool. Wex, as you contemplate what kind of mischief you might get up to during your 4 hours of watch, we will go ahead and break for the week. Friends, thank you so much for joining us for the Mythologue. We will see you Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.